We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Neil. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would we rank the Polk Monitor 60 towers, and how would we rank the KEF Q300 bookshelf speakers? He suspects we probably prefer KEF to Polk, but how much? Put a number on it. I am totally not putting a number on this. First of all, I've never heard the Polk Monitor 60s.
Okay.
I've never heard them. I have heard the Q something towers from KEF, so I've heard that line. I like them. I don't know. The number has to be in relation to something. So 1 to 10 overall in all the speakers I've ever heard.
In all the speakers.
That's just not going to happen. I mean, what am I going to place that? Like a 6, maybe 6.5.
Which one?
The KEF's the only ones I've heard. I've never heard the Polks. I have no idea what those Polks sound like.
All right.
The reviews sound good. I mean, the reviews sound fine, but the reviews are all from people like, these are the first speakers I've ever owned. I'm like, that's very helpful. Or these are the second speakers I've ever owned. I'm like, oh, well, you're even better.
They were better than the first, yeah.
They were better than the first. They cost 3 times as much, and it was totally worth the money. I'm like, these things are like not that pricey. They're not. They're not that pricey.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to say that 10 is a speaker I haven't even heard yet. All right? I'm going to say that the best speaker I have personally ever heard is going to be a 9, and I'm going to leave the room for a hypothetical speaker that might be even better. That's going to be my personal scale. So using that as my personal scale, I'm going to put those KEF Q300s, I'm going to put them about a 6. And I'm going to put those Polk towers, because these are, which one? Yeah, these are the Monitor 60s, right? So these are not quite their entry level. I think one step, or these might be their entry level. In any case,
60s, and I know there's 60s and 70s because a lot of people are comparing.
I'm just thinking of the Monitor series because they've got that RS series, which is somewhere else. I think Monitor's their entry. But anyway, yeah, the Polk Monitor 60s, I'm going to put them at about a 3.5.
There you go.
I don't personally like their high frequency roll off, which they have. I like a speaker that's got more detail and more high frequency extension. Now, the benefit of a high frequency roll off is huge sweet spot. Huge sweet spot. Because when you don't have the really, really high frequencies that are all directional and separating between your two ears, just by virtue of being super short wavelengths, you get a larger sweet spot.
The one experience I had with Polk, I think I remember them being very boomy.
They can be.
I might be thinking of a different speaker, though. That's the problem. I've heard so many speakers. I mean, we just talked about this. There was somebody thanking me for my review of a speaker I don't remember reviewing. Right. So I've heard so many speakers. It's very hard for me to remember which. If I went back and looked at the reviews or something, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Polk is at an extreme disadvantage here as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and that is their mass market, which means they have to, meet price points. They have to sell in big box stores, which means that they are dealing with a product that they are having, to basically use less resources to make that maybe somebody like a KEF or a Perion or some of these other brands, they don't need to make as much overhead. I mean, that's what it comes down to. They don't have to make as much. They don't have as much advertising going on. They're not spending as much on all this other stuff. So I think that the Polks are a bit of a disadvantage here. But I've never particularly liked Polks all that much. But I'm sure there are very good Polk speakers out there, and the people who get these love them because they don't know any better. So who am I to judge? I mean, I am totally judging them, but I shouldn't, and that's why I'm not going to say what I'm thinking.
We're still going to get flack.
Dude,
or I am. I deserve flack. That's fine. Send it my way. Whatever. It's one man's opinion. What does that matter?
It's his opinion. You asked for his opinion. I would never put a number on it, though. Not a chance.
Well, it's a very arbitrary number.
It is, and that's why I said the 6, 6.5. I'm like the KEFs. I remember thinking these are pretty good. Yeah. That's a 6. Yeah, pretty good. It's a 6. I mean, they were like the best speakers I ever heard. I'd give these speakers in here maybe a 7, 7.5.
Sure.
I mean, I like these speakers. I think they're great speakers. Are they the best speakers I've ever heard? No.
Yeah, I'd rate my own speakers. My own speakers, I'd rate like an 8, 8.5. And the Pioneer Andrew Jones towers that I really like, I'd rate those maybe like a 4. You know, so just barely above the Polks. Okay, if you want a relative scale on the Rob scale of speakers, there you go. Now you have an idea where I'm talking about.
Yeah, but when you factor in costs and you factor in all this other stuff, that number completely changes.
That's right.
You know, you can get those KEFs like on sale accessories for less for ridiculously cheap prices. So it's really hard for me to say that they're really a 6.5. They might be going 8 when you factor in the fact that you
I'm
get
not
for like
factoring in price and value.
I know. We're just going absolute sound. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.